Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Ponciano. I hope everybody had a good weekend and is well rested and ready for the week ahead. I wanted to go ahead and share with you something that I think you'll find extremely useful. It's something that I've been using in my classroom for a couple of years, and it's been working out for me really, really well. And doubly so right now with distance learning happening. So I think that you'll find it really useful as well. I teach math, and a lot of times in math, you want to see the work that the kids are producing. So, in other words, if I give them a problem, let's say, I want to see how they get to that answer or the process that they go through. And nothing beats doing things on paper. So the problem with distance learning is that it's difficult. Obviously, we're not with them, so it's kind of hard for us to see what they're doing on paper. So today's video is about how to get that paper now. Like how do we receive that information? What's the best method of receiving that information? And there's a couple of ways. So let me go ahead and show them to you. One of the ways, and the most preferred way, I think, obviously, is to use a cell phone, a smartphone. So the vast majority of kids have smartphones, 80% or more, I'd say. So that means that they can go ahead and take a picture of their work with their phone and turn that in, and it looks really, really good. The cameras on cell phones work really well. If a student doesn't have a cell phone, maybe they have a tablet. If a student doesn't have a tablet or a cell phone, then they should have a Chromebook, obviously. So provided by the school. So the cameras on Chromebooks work well as well, but not they're not as good as the ones on cell phone cameras. So if possible, have the kids use cell phone cameras. And if not, have the kids use Chromebook cameras. And I'm going to go ahead and go through that process with you right now. And it's going to be really, really beneficial. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into Google Classroom. And once I'm going into Google Classroom, I'm going to go ahead and go into my fifth period. And once I go into fifth period, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, I set up this phony assignment. So I have this phony assignment in here called addition problems. So I click on it. I only left it to the school account. So that I enrolled the school account into my teacher account as a way to show you without bothering the rest of my class. So here, the instructions were that I gave, please complete the addition problem, submit the assignment in the form of a photo. So they have to submit the assignment in the form of a photo. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. So the way I'm going to show you is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to present using my phone. So I'm going to join the Meet. Actually, I'm going to start a Meet. That would be the first place to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and start a Meet with my classroom link. Okay, and I'm going to start the Meet. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera and turn off my picture because if you've seen me, you know why. And I'm going to go ahead and click Join Now. Obviously, I'm going to be the only one in this Meet right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and on my cell phone, I'm going to go ahead and click on that class and as a student, and I'm going to go ahead and join the Meet. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that class as a student. And I'm going to go ahead and join the Meet. So you should see me. And there I am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and here I am a student. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. Students have that option, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and present my screen just like the teacher does sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to put share screen. And I'm clicking share screen. And pretty soon, there I am. And now I'm sharing my screen. So this is the screen of my phone. And it looks exactly like my phone does. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and as a student in Google Classroom, I'm going to turn in this work that my teacher has assigned, this person, Mr. Ponciano, who's a very difficult person. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Google Classroom on my phone. So let me go ahead and go into Google Classroom, and it's right there. So I'm going to click on Google Classroom. Okay. And then you can see that it opens up and it's exactly what's on my phone. And by the way, if you can see that little camera icon, you can see that little camera icon on the upper right hand corner, little square and the triangle. That's the camera icon. That's the one you use to join the meet. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the work in. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to go to classwork, the tab at the bottom. And here's the work, the addition problem. So I'm going to click on the addition problems. Okay. So addition problems, I'm going to click on that. And then here at the bottom, right here, you see that little arrow here. So I'm going to click up on that arrow, and then it's going to say add attachment. So I can go ahead and add an attachment. So I'm going to add an attachment. So I click add attachment, and then it gives me a whole bunch of options. I can add something from my drive. I can add a link. I can upload a file. I can pick a photo from my camera roll. I can use my camera, docs, slides, sheets, whatever one of these forms. I want to use my camera. If I already took the picture, then I'm going to pick a photo. But I'm going to use my camera right now. The first time you do this, the phone's going to ask you permission, saying that Google Classroom wants to use your camera. Do you want to let it? Yes or no? So I already did this before, so I already put yes. So I'm going to go ahead and click use camera. So when I use camera, my camera shows up. So I put my camera right above my addition problem work. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. It's a very complicated problem. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. And when I take a picture, it'll ask me, do you want to use this photo, or do you want to retake for a better one? This one looks pretty good, so I'm going to use the photo. So I'm going to use the photo, and now what's happening is that it's going to start to upload my picture. Okay, so it's uploading my picture. So in a second, it's going to be done. And then right here where it says mark as done, that's going to go away, and it's going to give me the option to turn in. Okay. So there it is. It's done uploading. In a second, that should change. And it does. If I want to add a second picture, I just add another attachment, or a third picture. Sometimes I've had kids give me 3 or 4 pictures at once. So now I'm going to click turn in. And are you sure you want to turn it in? It's asking me. I click turn in. And it's done. Okay, I'm all done. Awesome. I'm all set. So now I already turned in the work. I don't need to, worry about anything. I've already turned in my work as a student. So what if I don't have a phone? So that's what we're going to get to next. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and hang up from this meet as a student. Here I am as a teacher. Here I am as a student. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up from this meet, and I'm going to join from a Chromebook. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up. Stop broadcasting. Okay, so I hung up. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and now I will join from a Chromebook. Okay, so I have a Chromebook in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to Classroom. And now I'm going to go ahead and join the meet from the Chromebook. So I'm going to click join now. And I just joined. Now this time, instead of joining from my phone, I'm joining from the Chromebook. So I'm going to go ahead and present my screen from my Chromebook. So I'm going to go ahead and put present now. I'm going to present my entire screen. Click and share. And now it should present my screen. Perfect. So now this is the screen that I have on my Chromebook. That's what I'm looking at right now. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this photo, this this window, and this is my home screen on my Chromebook. Now, one thing that we have to do first is we have to access the camera. If you notice, I don't see an app for a camera here. So I have to access the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the little magnifying glass. I think it's a magnifying glass, this little circle here, and I'm going to type in camera. Okay, so camera. And as soon as I do, the camera icon pops up. So I click on that icon. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go, if you notice that the camera is here at the bottom, so the problem is that whenever I close the camera, that icon goes away. So I want the icon to stay. I want that to stay on the shelf or the taskbar, whatever Google calls it. So I want it to stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click here, and I'm going to type. It remembers. So I'm going to click the camera again, and it opens that up, and it opens back up. So what I want to do is I want to make sure the camera doesn't go away. So I'm going to go ahead and hover my cursor right over the camera. And I'm going to put two fingers together. I'm going to put my index finger and my middle finger together. And what's going to happen is if I tap those together on the touchpad, it's like right clicking on a mouse on a PC. It gives you a context menu. So I'm going to click on that together. Okay. If I put those two fingers together and I tap on the touchpad, it knows what I just did. So it's different than just tapping with one finger. So I'm going to click pin here. And now when I close the camera, it stays. That's a really, 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 really important feature, because what happens now is I can go ahead and just leave that there and I don't have to go searching for it. And that goes the same for a whole bunch of other apps. Like if you want to add, Gmail down here or Google Drive, that's really important. So that way, you know, some of these apps are installed by the district, and so you don't have that ability. So if I put my two fingers together, I hover over one of these icons and I tap, you notice I don't have the ability to remove this one because it was installed by the district. Okay. By the way, if you want to go ahead and if you notice sometimes it's kind of hard to follow my cursor, if you want students, if you're sharing your screen and you want people to follow your cursor, a really easy way is to go into this menu here on the right. So in order to find the accessibility settings, what you have to do is you go into settings for the Chromebook. So you go into settings, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and scroll down till you get to the point where it says advanced. Don't freak out if you see advanced. It's not a big deal. Just go ahead and click advanced. Nothing's going to happen. Keep on scrolling down until you find accessibility. So here, accessibility is right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click to turn on accessibility. I want it to show up. So I'm going to close this now. And what happens is when I click here, now it appears right here under accessibility. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to go ahead and click on highlight mouse cursor. So when I highlight mouse cursor, you notice what happens now. It has a red circle around it. And I really like that feature. It really helps for the kids to follow my cursor. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that on. Tip right there. So if you want your accessibility settings, make sure that you follow those directions in order to go ahead and start using those. So the two finger tap has a lot of usefulness. It's the right click, right? So it's the right click. So for example, if I go into right here, this is the desktop. I don't like this desktop. It's kind of plain. So I'm going to two finger tap right in the middle of it, and it gives me these options. Okay, I'm going to click set wallpaper. So I'm going to click set wallpaper, and when I do that, it gives me a list of all these different wallpapers I can go ahead and choose from. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick one. Let's see here. Not the time to waste, right? Let's go ahead and pick, I don't know. Let's go ahead and pick this one, Hong Kong. So I'm going to go ahead. I clicked on that one. I changed the wallpaper. So there's a whole bunch of uses for that. So the 2-finger tap, I would definitely suggest that you show that to your kids. It's a very useful feature. So I have my camera here, and there's something else that I need. Okay. So I'm going to go, but I'll show you that, guys, in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of my homework on the Chromebook. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. So I'm going to click on the camera. And as soon as I click on the camera opens up. And here's my problem. As you can see, the problem is not as clear as it was in the cell phone, right? So light is very important. So here, the more light you have, the better. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I'm going to take that picture. There we are. So I'm done taking that picture. Now I'm going to go ahead and close the Chromebook. I'm sorry, close the camera. Okay, so the camera is gone. So now what I have to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to Google Classroom. Here's my Google Classroom, and I'm going to turn that in. Now, really important that you know where it is. Where did that file go? Where did that picture go? This is where another really, really important app is going to come in really handy to you. So I suggest you definitely want to install this one. So go here, and so you're going to look for this one. It's called Files. Click on it. And now I'm going to go ahead. I want to make sure that one stays also. I want to make sure that stays on the taskbar because it's something that I'm going to use frequently. So I'm going to put my cursor over it, 2-finger tap, pin it, and now it stays. All right, so I close it and it's still there. Okay. So that picture that I took, it went into my downloads folder. So it's right here. My files, I click downloads, and here's the picture. You can see it says image, 2020 is the year, the date, the time the picture was taken, even with the seconds. So I want this picture, I want to turn in this picture. Now, something to point out about downloads, the downloads folder lives on your computer. Chromebooks have a very small hard drive that's local. It means it's not saved to your Google Drive yet. It's saved only on the Chromebook. So what I suggest you do is that you go ahead and you move that file here into your Google Drive. Okay. So I suggest you move it into your Google Drive. There's a few ways to do that. You can drag and drop. What I suggest is the 2-finger tap. So you put your cursor over the file, you 2-finger tap, copy. And now I'm going to go to my Google Drive and I'm going to click here, 2-finger tap, paste. And now it went from just living on my computer to going to my Google Drive, and I can access it anywhere. Okay, so files, very important. This right here, think of it as your file explorer in PC or your Finder in a MacBook. It tells you where all your stuff is. These things, these downloads files or that folder only lives on your Chromebook. So if somebody deletes your account on your Chromebook, that's gone. But if you move it to my drive, it's going to live in your Google Drive. Okay, very important point. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to go ahead and go to classwork, and I'm going to submit this assignment. So let's see here, addition problem. I already submitted it, so I'm going to go ahead and unsubmit it and then resubmit with this one because I submitted it once on my phone already. So I'm going to unsubmit it, which students also have that option to do. So I'm going to go ahead and unsubmit, and then I'm going to go ahead and that's my old picture, the one I took on my phone. So I'm going to get rid of that one. and I'm going to go ahead and add the new picture. And it's in my drive. It's in my Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Google Drive. And I'm going to click, well, I'll leave it on recent because it's always going to show you the most recent files that have been added or manipulated. And so here it is. So by the way, it's showing me the one from my phone also because I uploaded that one also. And that goes into my Google Drive. So I'm going to click here. And I'm going to click insert. And it's going to upload that file for me. Okay. And now the student has just turned in their work using their Chromebook, only their Chromebook. So I'm going to click turn in, and that's done. Okay. So I thought this would come in really handy for you. I hope it has. I hope that you let your kids know how to do this. It's a really useful tool. So not only for math, it's for all kinds of subject matter. I think it would come in really handy. So don't forget the two-finger tap. Two-finger tap, very, very important, very useful. So remember that you can go ahead and add, like for example, right here I've added my Google Drive also on my own account. So here, if you're looking for something, type it in. So drive. Well, there it is, drive, right? So if you want to add that, let me go ahead and close this here. So if I want to add drive, I go here, two-finger tap, and I can go ahead and let's see here. Yeah, two-finger tap, pin to shelf, and I pin it to my shelf. Okay, so really useful tools. I hope you share this with your students. I hope this was useful to you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.